Okay, so before we actually dive into this storyline, I do want to mention something about the character of Psylocke, because when it comes to X-Men comics, it's a very, very difficult thing to follow sometimes when it comes to certain characters, especially Psylocke. Well, not that hard, but the thing is, this is the original Psylocke. What I mean by the original is that back in the early days of Marvel Comics, you had Kawanan, and I really hope I pronounced her name correctly. If not, just tell me in the comment section down below. But either way, Kawanan was the original Psylocke on the X-Men team. Now, there was a point, I want to say in the 90s, where you had Betty Braddock, the sister to Captain Britain, switch bodies with Kawanan. And so you have Betty Braddock in the body of Kawanan and becoming the new Psylocke. And so for years and years and years, Marvel just basically left that character in the body of Kawanan, and she was Psylocke to most X-Men fans and newer X-Men fans. Now, with that being said, over the last couple years, Marvel have finally put each character back in their own bodies. And so right now you have Kawanan back in her own body again, and she's back to being the original Psylocke. Now, finally getting into the main storyline, we actually pick up with a young girl. Now, this young girl is going to have a special connection to Psylocke down the road in later issues. But with that being said, though, we actually pick up with this young girl right now arriving at a subway station. Now, when she arrives at this subway station, she does activate some kind of tech that she put on her head. And when she does, it gives her different kinds of abilities. Now, this is huge because you do see her actually begin the process of attacking people in the trains in this train station. Now, while she is doing that, though, you do have somebody narrating. And the person who is narrating, you can tell right off the bat that that person who is speaking is coming from the past. And they are talking about the girl, how they had to hide the girl because sooner or later somebody will try to come after her. And when they do, there could be a possibility that she'll be changed or might not have make it. And this girl does talk, and she says one single word, Apothe. And that right there, that name is going to be very important. Now, we actually do pick up with the Psylocke character, and when we do see her right now kind of meditating and enjoying the new life she has on Krakoa. Now, while she is meditating, well, that is the moment you do have her get hit with some kind of vision. Now, this vision was given to her by someone else to warn her about Apothe, how Apothe is some kind of new god, and he's working out of Tokyo at the moment. And this person is telling her, you need to go to Tokyo. You need to stop this new god. You need to stop Apothe, because if Apothe is able to achieve what he wants to achieve, it is all over for people on Earth. Now, with that being said, though, when the vision ends, well, right before the vision ends, you do have that person tell Psylocke, you need to stop him because he already has got something so precious to you. Now, you do have Psylocke want to leave and go to Tokyo. The problem is, though, she can't just leave. And the reason why, because she needs to get some kind of pass from somebody from the Silent Council, the 10 people who decide the different things for the island, the big decisions for the island of the mutant race. But with that being said, the reason why she needs this special pass is because what happened in X-Force number 1. Back in X-Force number 1, our last video, Charles Xavier was just shot and killed. Now, the mutant race did find a way to bring people back to life or bring a version of that person to life. But of course, everyone is still freaking out because Charles Xavier was just shot and killed on their brand new mutant island. And so Magneto's saying, listen, we're on lockdown. Usually mutants do have that pass, but for right now, I really can't grant you that pass because what happened to Charles Xavier. But if you go to Mr. Sinister, well, then maybe he can give you a pass, because he's one of those people who usually gives people passes if down the road something benefits him. And so you have Magneto send her away. Now, you do have Psylocke find Mr. Sinister, and this right here is very important, and the reason why, because when it comes to Mr. Sinister, like I said, if he's going to do anything for you, he has to get something in return that benefits him. And the reason why I say that, because he does ask her one question after she tells him that Magneto has sent her to him to get access off the island. And you have him ask her one question. Where were you when Betty Braddock had your body? Because remember what I said at the very beginning of this video. Betty Braddock in Kawanon, and I'm pretty sure I'm mispronouncing her name, has switched bodies. And when they did, Betty Braddock was out there being basically Psylocke on the X-Men, while you had Kawanon in the body of Betty Braddock, but she was nowhere to be found. And so with that, it's Mr. Sinister asking, where were you? She was out there in your body, not being you, but using your body, but her own name. Where were you? And why haven't you killed her to get revenge for taking your body and using your body? And for Psylocke, she's kind of like, that's not me anymore. I'm not that kind of person who goes around killing people for something that in reality we both had no control over. But of course, you do have Mr. Sinister say, fine, you have access, you can leave. You can go out there and find this new god Apothe, and hopefully you do stop him. Now, we do get this random kind of flashback where we see that somebody or someone was training Kawan at a young age, and we see that he's trying to tell her that her life is going to be very challenging, that she was not born to stay in one particular area, especially the area that she was born in. Instead, she was born to travel around the world, across the world, to do different things. And so right now it's her kind of being trained what could be her father or grandfather. Now, we finally do pick up with two other characters that are going to be involved in this overall storyline for Fallen Angels, and that will be Cable and also X-23, the clone of Wolverine. Now, with these two, they're going to be joining Psylocke on this mission to leave the island, to go to Tokyo, and to hopefully stop whoever is this Apothe person. Now, of course, this is supposed to be some kind of like 3 characters who were badly damaged over the years, and they all come together to work together to kind of heal up each other, because each character has gone through a lot. Now, for me personally, I'm kind of like, listen, every single X-Men character has gone through a lot. But I do like this staff right here, not the staff, but this roster of characters, Cable, X-23, and also Psylocke. But of course, you do have Psylocke go over to them and ask them to join her team to help her stop Apothe, and both characters do say yes. Now, when X-23 and Psylocke arrive in Tokyo, they do find a young lady, and her name is Makoto. Now, when it comes to Makoto, Makoto has every information you need on anyone or anything in Tokyo. And of course, right now, Psylocke needs some kind of information. So with that being said, you do have Makoto tell Psylocke what in the world is Apothe. And that is the moment she says, Apothe is a rumor, apparently a new kind of drug on the black market, and this new drug does a lot of different things. Now, of course, Psylocke says, I want to know more about this drug, and that is the moment you have Makoto play a particular video, and this video is basically a security camera video that took place at the very beginning of our video when that young girl attacked that random subway station. So with that being said, Psylocke is watching this young girl use this new Apothe drug and wreak havoc in that train station. But while watching the video, X-23 can tell that something is off with Psylocke, like apparently she knows this young girl somehow. Now you have Psylocke begin to freak out, and when she does, she begins to ask Makoto where in the world can she find Apothe. She needs to find the actual dealer of this drug, because the girl in that video, it made her freak out. It's like Psylocke knew who that little girl was, and the question is now, who is that little girl to Psylocke? And that is the moment you have Psylocke knock out Makoto and you have X-23 kill her guards, and you didn't have Psylocke show X-23 why she freaked out in her mind. What is so important about that girl? And that is the moment you have Psylocke tell X-23 the girl in the video is basically her daughter. And you're like, whoa, hold up. Even though it was kind of obvious that was her daughter, we still must continue on with this story. Now, when Psylocke read the mind of Makoto, she was able to get a location, and this location apparently is very close to Makoto, and it must be very close to Apothe as well. Now, when X-23 and Psylocke get there, well, of course, that is the moment they find a bunch of children who are being held hostage in this random location, and right now their minds is on that new kind of drug called Apothe. Now you do have Psylocke use her minds to go ahead and kill these kids to free them from being controlled by Apothe, but that is the moment you have Apothe take over one of the kids' minds that had actually died to give him the chance to talk to Psylocke in X-23. Now really just Psylocke. He does not care about X-23 at all. But of course, that is the moment he does tell Psylocke, listen, go ahead and go back home. Stay away from this area. Matter of fact, with you mutants on that island, human race has finally had the chance to evolve the proper way. But of course, I heard that you were looking for me, and so I came here to tell you, just leave me alone. Do not bother me. And then he lets go that kid's mind, and now you have Psylocke wondering, okay, well, now I know this guy has some kind of powers to be able to take over someone's dead body to talk through. The question is though, who is he and where is he? Now, we do see Psylocke in X-23 go back to Mr. Sinister back on COPPA, and the reason why, because she needs to make a deal with Mr. Sinister. And like I said, when it comes to Mr. Sinister, he only makes a deal with you if down the road something actually benefits him. And that is the moment you have Psylocke ask Mr. Sinister to make sure that her and her team do not exist around this island, meaning that she wants no one else on the island to know that there is another X-Men team going out there running around in Japan or Tokyo, because she wants to keep this team as a secret. Her, Cable, and X-23. And with Mr. Sinister doing that, if she's able to complete this mission, then she will hand over Apothe over to Mr. Sinister so that he can study this new kind of god or this new kind of creature or being on the earth. Because when it comes to Mr. Sinister, he loves to play around with genetics. And so that is the one thing he really wants to do, is look at this new creature or new kind of human being on the earth. But with that being said, this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and also subscribe to the channel for more content to come in the near future. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below. But you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But I do hope you enjoyed today's comic book video. Later, guys.